Now, a number of police stations have been identified for their high crime volumes. Gauteng's Provincial Commissioner has identified 6 priority areas as well. Officials are hoping to bring down crime levels in Gauteng. To discuss the plans, I'm joined this morning by the police's Brigadier Mathapelo Peters. Brigadier, good morning.
Good morning.
And thanks for your time this morning. I mean, that sounds like a massive task ahead, considering what we know of crime levels and in Gauteng in particular. Let's start first with one worrying point from this, is that police stations, a number of them being identified as contributing to the most to the volumes of crime. What do we mean? What have you found at these police stations?
Yuvenka, I think that goes with the population size of Gauteng. We know that Gauteng is densely populated.
Yeah.
So what we have found is that when we measure performance of stations, we find that crime in some cases, or in most cases, is reduced. But however, when you look at the volumes, and when we talk volumes, the feeling or the sentiment of management is that that's people's lives. Those are victims who experience real crime in their lives. So when we're talking about volumes, we're really talking numbers and not percentages.
So what exactly do we mean when we say that they are contributing? Are we talking about corruption at these police stations? Are we talking about non-performance, not seeing to, not resolving the issues or investigations? What exactly do we mean?
What we mean by that, it's crime in itself. Remember, our mandate is to fight crime and to reduce crime.
Yeah.
Now, if I can just bring in the Provincial Commissioner's priorities, one of his 6 priorities is to reduce the volumes of crime. Now, in order to do that, we would have to address a lot of issues, including corruption, whether in the police or outside of the police, and organized crime, serious and violent crime. All of those issues, once those have been addressed, they will bring down the volumes of crime.
Okay, so we're just looking at how these police stations and the numbers, that the volumes that they have to deal with, not that they are not performing or that or whatever's happening at those police stations is contributing. Okay, let's talk about those 6 priorities, and a lot of it involving the community as well. So how do you hope to reach the community? Because, and you know, and let's call it like it is that the perception of police in some areas is that they do nothing about it. They are not interested in certain areas unless you're a somebody, and you know, it's a bit of a PR exercise. So how do you hope to get communities to work with police and for police to actually do the jobs that they're supposed to be doing?
In fact, I'm happy you've raised that, because that's actually the entry point where we've realized that public perception is very, very low. And as one of the priorities, again, the Provincial Commissioner, Lieutenant General Mawela, is looking into community policing, which means that we will be collaborating and working closely with communities. We have been told on a number of instances that people do not report crime because they do not trust the police. Now, since his appointment as the Provincial Commissioner, we have been embarking on what I would call a roadshow in simple terms, where we have visited police stations, but within the audience, we do have community, and it's broadly represented by your youth structures, the business sector, the taxi industry, and depending on the crime patterns in that area, we try to reach out to as many stakeholders as possible. And we find that up to so far, it has worked wonderfully.
So tell us what have been the concerns raised in these forums and these discussions so far? What have these ordinary groups of people told you?
Okay. Like I said, different areas have different dynamics. But if I can just quote this past Sunday, because we do this over the weekends. So on Sunday, we were at Johannesburg Central, and that's a predominantly business area, although there is some residential area. So the banking industry was there. We had representatives from the bank. We had private security. And most of the issues that were raised really was for them saying that, you know what, this is what we can bring to the party in terms of assisting the police. Because what we do when we go there, the crime picture is given to them, that this is what the crime picture looks in your area, and then the station management has to make commitments. But of key importance is really the collaboration and partnering with whoever is willing and able to come forward, so that we synergize our resources and we maximize on what we can achieve.
Do we have enough officers in Gauteng to put this plan into place, to deal with the community on that level that you're asking them to come to you and say, I know this and this is what's happening in my community? Do we have the manpower, Brigadier, to actually go out and make this work?
Well, I do not have the numbers, but I think just judging by the growth of the population size in Gauteng, I think it's safe to say that we might not be enough. However, that is why we've gone out since last year with even the former provincial commissioner trying to have a force multipliers where we've reached out to private security. We work very closely with the metro police departments in Ekurhuleni, Tshwane and Johannesburg. We also have community patrollers in areas where we can't reach, and these will go to your residential areas, your schools and so on. And the community themselves as well, where we've had a number of successes purely because of the information and tip-offs that we've received from the public.
And what are you doing about corruption within the police force, within the service itself?
I can say that there are a number of officers that have been dismissed in the past, but this is also one of the Provincial Commissioner's priorities. He's looking into it, and cases are investigated as they come forth. We've had a number of complaints from the public, like I said, but the Provincial Commissioner has put in strict instructions that, you know what, this is going to be a priority. It will be handled and investigated accordingly.
Okay, so you've done, what is it, about eight police stations so far?
Yeah, around about that we've done about 8.
And how many more to go, and when do you think your process will be completed?
We're looking at 40. Our target is by 6 months after the appointment of the Provincial Commissioner, but because we're putting in the extra hours and doing it on weekends, we might even get to that target earlier. But it doesn't mean that once we've done the 40, we're done. This will be a continuous thing, especially judging by the success that we've been achieving so far.
So how will the community, how will ordinary Joburgers or Gautengers know when you're coming to the area and how they can attend these meetings?
We do work very closely with our Community Police Forum, and they are the ones that assist us. We work with the councillors as well of that area, whichever area it is that we're going to visit. And we also do mobilize quite a lot through the police station, as well as social crime prevention and our sector policing. So we have been getting the numbers.
Okay, well, we look forward to more feedback from this and to see when this plan finally gets underway. And I wish you all the luck with it, though. It is a mammoth task,
it is,
like we said.
is.
Okay, thank you very much. That's the police's Brigadier Mathapelo Peters, just updating us on the crime campaign that they've currently embarked on. It is